Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial, and today's review is Leave the World Behind. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So let's go over the cast first. This was a good cast. You got Julia Roberts, plays as Amanda Sanford, and you got Mahershala Ali, plays as George Scott. You know, he's going to be the new Blade in the up-and-coming Marvel series. You got Mahala, plays as Ruth Scott. Charlie Evans plays as Archie Sanford. Farrah McKenzie plays as Rose Sanford. And you got Ethan Hawke plays as Clay Sanford. And you have Kevin Bacon plays as Danny. Then you got Alexis Ray Forlenza plays as Danny's daughter, but you just see her. She don't got no words or anything. So let's get into this move. It just dropped recently. Good cast, great acting from the actors that played in it. It was great acting. Julia Roberts did a real good job. Ethan Hawke, Ali, they all did a good job. Even Mahala, she did a good job. However, the storyline didn't resonate with me at all, man. Didn't resonate with me at all. The acting is really what took it, but the storyline itself, you kept waiting to see what was happening or what was going on, and okay, the movie's like 2 hours and 20 minutes long, so you keep waiting. Good acting, what's happening in the world, and then boom, the movie's over. And so it's a build up that could get a part two, especially if they don't drag it out. Let's just say this time next year they put out part two, because I thought this was it kind of had like the Bird Box vibes to me. So let's just go over. You got Amanda and Clay Sanford. Starts off first scene. Amanda's plotting a vacation trip for the family. She gets pretty much an Airbnb for the trip. Clay, he's with it, shows them driving. So you got their son, Archie, and he's older, probably I think he's about 17 maybe. Got the little sister, she's probably 13. Right off the bat, you see the little sister's a little, I don't want to say weird, but she got a weird vibe. And you see that also throughout the movie. Then they finally get to the destination, get to the house. Nice house. Kids instantly jump in the pool. And Amanda goes to the local store. When she goes to the local store, she sees Kevin Bacon's character. His name is Danny. You really don't know. But when she noticed she's shopping for groceries, he's shopping for stock. Like you see him piling up water, you see him piling up canned goods and stuff like that. And that's the first part you see Danny. You don't see Danny again to the end of the movie. So they go to the beach. This is the scene you see on the trailer with the big boat. So while they're on the beach, the little girl sees the boat off in the distance, and basically she keeps staring at the boat. And as time is going by, she's saying, hey, the boat is getting closer. And everybody's brushing her off at first. Then finally Julia Roberts took a notice what she said. And look, the boat is getting closer. So when the boat got real close, they pretty much said, hey, we need to pack up because it's not stopping. So that's a big scene. You see everybody rushing off the beach, and a big ship pretty much washes on the shore. The security person at the beach pretty much, telling everybody to get going, and tells them that this happens from time to time. Basically, the navigation gets messed up. So they go from that, they go back home. And when they go back home, the kids go to bed. And while they're going to bed, a knock comes at the door in the middle of the night. it's GH Scott who owns the house and his daughter. And which is real weird. They're doing an Airbnb, they're showing up, they're looking for a place to stay. And rightfully so, Amanda is like, what are you talking about? Like, you want a place to stay. Like, I'm renting this out. So they eventually let him in. Because Clay is more like, he tried to see the good in people. He lets them in. And the daughter is pretty much, the daughter of GH, she's pretty much, this is my house, what we look like. Having to ask other people, can we stay in our house? But you're renting it out, Airbnb, so it's not fair to the consumer. Nevertheless, being in her age is probably like anywhere from 19 to 21 or whatever. So they get in there talking and say, well, why didn't they stay at their like condo in the city or wherever they were staying? And the dad GH was pretty much saying, well, I got a knee injury. I didn't want to, there's a blackout right now, and I didn't want to have to climb the flights of stairs. And I know these roads by the back of my hand, so pretty much I came out here. It's safer from what I've seen. So he's not really telling what they're seeing or what they witnessed. They just said it's a blackout all over, no internet, no connectivity for nothing. So while this is going on, every now and again there's something to flash on the TV screen or something to flash on the phone because the system is out. And so when the TV went blue, basically, you get that national emergency message on the TV screen. So they seen that first, and they eventually let them in. And GH pretty much, he went in the cabinet, got out his liquor, he gave them $1,000 in cash, and said, me and my daughter are sleeping in the in-law suite in the basement. So that's where they went and slept. And in the middle of the night, some alerts was maybe to get through, and the alerts was basically saying it was a cyber attack and everything is shut down or whatever. So throughout throughout the movie, you kept hearing Ruth, which is GH's daughter, you kept hearing her speaking about power plants. If you kill the power plants and stuff like that, it could control the power. You kept seeing her mention that. The wife of GH, she was on she's like an arts dealer or whatever, and she was on a flight. So it pretty much alludes to like she might have died, but they want to make it interesting. If it's a part 2, they'll let the wife survive. So nevertheless, now I start picking it up because now you got the next day, Clay, he said, I'm going to go into town and see if I can find out anything. So in his travels to the city, it's like ghost town on his travel. You see a horse or a cow on the side of the road. He doesn't see anything. And then out of nowhere, this Latino Mexican woman came out, and she's speaking in her language. He can't understand her. She's trying to explain what she's experiencing. He can't understand her. Eventually, he just drove off, and she was pounding on his car or whatever. So he drove off. In the process of driving off, this big, like a drone let out all these red pamphlets, and you find out later it was basically saying "Death to America" in the pamphlet, and it was written in Arabic. So that's Ethan part. Not Ethan. Well, it's Ethan Hawke, but Clay's part. You don't see him for a while. He don't make it to the house for a while because he was lost. So meanwhile, back at the house, the little daughter Ruth, she was seeing deer. And first it was a couple deer that was showing up. Then it was a lot of deer. And then one time she came up, it was like a whole like colony of deer showing up, as if they was trying to warn them for something, or they was looking for food. Either or. So eventually she said, I want to go out and see what's out there. She went in the woods with the brother. They found this shed, and the brother ended up getting bit by a tick, or you don't know what. He got bit by something. You know eventually that was going to affect him. And of course, so Rose, which is the little daughter, she's looking, seeing the deer, but then she sees this house off in and he pretty much tell her like, let's get going. But you see that house becomes key at the end. So she seen that house off in the distance, and she ended up turning back. So then they all back at the house, trying to still figure out everything, talking to each other. GH and Amanda is connecting. Clay actually come back. He started telling everybody what he had. He showed the pamphlet thing he had. GH pretty much said he knew somebody up in Cali. They received one tour, but their writing was in Chinese or something like that, he was saying. So people do that, pretty much what he was saying. And so at this moment, we find out Clay, he was like a community college professor. And him and Ruth have a moment. They sitting at the poolside, they're talking, the kids is all doing whatever. GH and Amanda have a moment. They're listening, they're drinking, listening to music, and they catch a vibe. And of course, they get real connected. And she pretty much was like, "You married, I'm married. We're both drunk, and we can't do this or whatever." And so in the process of him, when he was talking to Amanda, he spoke of what he does, and he he assists rich people with their money and stuff like that. And he was explaining one of his high clients, and he said, "I can't tell you who it is, but they asked me to move money around, and when this last time they kind of made a joke. He makes jokes with them that they meeting with the basically Illuminati, the cabal, and people that run the world. He makes these jokes with them, and normally he said that he always jokes back. This time when he made the joke after he moved the money around, he said he didn't laugh, and he pretty much told me, "Take care of yourself," as if he felt sorry for me, like he knew what was coming. So that was telling. And so now they don't really know what's going on outside of the world. But there was a moment where GH, when Clay had went in the town, GH went looking around. He went to his neighbor's house. The neighbor had like a satellite phone that didn't work, and he walked off. So somewhere, wherever they at, they're located near the beach. And when he went to the beach, he seen something in the ground, and the way the camera view just makes it look like it's one person, and it was the pilot. And then all of a sudden you see debris, the airplane debris scattered all over the beach, and you see dead people. Then right while he was there, a plane nosedived out of the sky, because now there's no communication, there's no air traffic controllers to control the airways, so planes is probably crashing into each other. There's no guidance, so the plane just came nosedive right at the beach. Why is it at that location? Who knows? It just could for theatrics. He made it back, and he told everybody that he didn't want to tell his daughter Ruth, because he know that her mom is on a flight, so that'd just increase, how she would feel. But of course, Amanda got upset, and she just pretty much blurted it out. Now, at this moment, everybody's back at the house, and they start thinking about what we're gonna do. We can't just sit here. So they thought of Danny at this moment. So it was a moment that came on. The TV came back in for a second, and it gave you like a little message or whatever from there. And Archie started to take sick, and so he started to take sick. And when he took sick, all of a sudden his teeth started to fall out, and then he threw up all this black stuff. So they like, we gotta get to Danny, because we need some help. And he looked like he's well prepared. He might have some medicine. Now, one moment I skipped, when they was trying to leave, they meaning Amanda, Clay, and the kids, they were trying to leave, and then they went to the expressway, and it was cut off, and all they kept seeing was these cars, Tesla cars that were on autopilot, because now those Teslas is computerized, and they could be ran off of the computer. And all of a sudden, all these Teslas was jamming, just all leading to one direction and blocking the expressway. Meanwhile, while blocking the expressway, it was theatrical, dramatic Amanda had to dodge the Teslas and they showed back up at the house. So that's what shut the expressway down, with the cars being controlled by the computer and everything like that. So at this moment, you had Clay and GH taking Archie to Danny's house to try to get some medicine to help him because they can't get to no hospitals or nothing. Meanwhile, you had Amanda and Ruth together. Rose dipped off. She took a bike and she just bounced or whatever. So you don't know where she go, but you got Amanda and Ruth end up at the shed. Amanda's upset and she's blurting out her anger, so she's frustrated and she kind of yelled at Ruth, and Ruth said, "Don't yell at me," and then they had a little back and forth. Then when they went out, they seen tire marks in the forest, in the woods rather. Of course, that's Rose, and it seemed like it's leading to that house that I mentioned earlier in the review. But now you've seen the deer surrounding Ruth, and so Amanda noticed the deer was surrounding her, and so the deer, the main head deer with the big antlers, stepped forward, and they looking at Ruth as food. Not like they trying to warn them. Now they all coming closer, like they ready to attack for food. You know, deer don't normally attack people, but if you gotta feed your, whatever. So they instantly, Amanda start yelling. You know, they always say if you yell to certain animals, that it make you seem bigger than what you are, and it'll scare the animals off. And so they kept doing that. Ruth and Amanda kept doing that, and it scared them off, and the deer eventually left. So that was pretty much the end of them seeing a trail that led to that old house. That was pretty much, and then that deer scene, that was the end of them for the movie. Then you went to Danny, I said GH and Clay went to Danny's house. Now Danny and is a contractor. He did some contracting work for GH, and they supposed to be like cool, not really friends, but Danny on some old, it's the end of the world. All rules is changed. I don't trust you. It's survival of the fittest. I'm taking care of my family. You need to take care of yours. He pulls the gun out. That's where you see in the trailer the gun, and GH has got a gun pulled on him. Danny got pulled on him, and basically, Danny's looking for help. GH is looking for help, and so Clay comes out like, "Hey man, come on, we need to keep the peace. My son is 16 years old. He just need help right now. And you look like a well-prepared man that maybe you got some medicine that can help him." So eventually Danny backed down and pretty much said he gave him some medicine. But in the process of their conversation, he talked about a family called the Horns, or I forgot what they're like, the Thorns or something like that. They had a bunker, unauthorized bunker placed in their house. And he's pretty much telling them, you and your family need to get there. And so what I also failed to mention throughout the movie, there was 2 different times where this loud siren that hurted the ears of the people was going off. And they also said like it was bringing off radiation. So they believe that's what hit their son, Archie, or it could have been that tick he got bit with. That's how his teeth start falling out or whatever. So that house, that with the bunker, that's where Rose ended up going to. So it shows Rose, she made it to the house, broke in the house. It shows her at being a young teen, just eating up all the snacks, drinking, and then it shows her make it to the bunker, and she opened the bunker up, and of course it got all these computers and stuff like that. So whoever it was, they were prepared, tons of food, and it have a DVD section. She see Friends, and that's what she was like in the beginning. She was hooked on Friends, and she always wanted to see, like, she's been watching from season 1 all the way to the end, and she seen the DVD of Friends, put it in a DVD player, and she just went off in her own world watching Friends. That's where you see, like, she's off. And not a care in the world, and it kind of ended with her doing that. Meanwhile, that's how the movie ended. But back to the scene with Clay and GH after they got the medicine. Clay knew a little, not Clay. GH knew a little bit more. He pretty much said in the process while he was doing his work at work, he seen some things, and basically this was like different phases of the restart of the world and about the counterattacks and attacks and stuff like that. So there was a message on. Basically, he was telling Clay that I need to make sure we on the same page, basically. And what I'm going to say from here is pretty much, it's us. Now, before he left his daughter Ruth, he told her give him an hour, then meet back at the house. Now, what it all leads to at the end of the movie, it leads to everybody's going to end up at that Thorn house because Amanda and Ruth are in the woods. They see the trail leading to that house, so that's going to lead them to the house where Rose is. Then about time, Archie, Clay, and GH make it back to the house. Amanda and Ruth is not there. That's going to trigger them to get to the bunker. So it seems like everybody end up eventually at the bunker or whatever. So when inside of the bunker where Rose was, there was a message basically saying that there was some rogue armed forces that basically traded, and that started off a war, but in a civil war within cities and stuff like that. Now there was a moment where Amanda, when she seen the trail for Rose leading to the house, it showed Ruth just looking off. And then when Amanda noticed what she looking off at, she was looking across from where the beach was over to where the city area was. And it was just, you hear gunfire, you hear buildings getting, catching fire, getting blown up. So this is all the action within the last 15 minutes of the movie. So everything I just went over may or may not sound like a decent movie for you, but it definitely could have been better. The actors actors and actresses in the movie really just carried the movie, and that's the highlight of the movie. So you wanted more. You wanted more. I would have rather for it being an alien invasion. That probably would have set it off more. So it leaves you this, okay, this is the groundwork, this is the character development in this movie. Part 2, if they really put whatever into it, probably could be way better. Because it's going to get right to everything, how everything happened. And those moments where GH was talking about the stuff he was seeing, what led up to those moments, and then what's happening present day. So out of my 4-star rating system, man, I give this movie a 2 out of 4 stars. Is decent enough to watch. The actors and actresses kept the movie going. I just don't like the plot. I think it just kept leading you to get to somewhere, and then it didn't get nowhere, and then the last 15 minutes just threw some stuff out there. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 4 stars. Decent enough to watch. But listening to this recap review, save your time. I can see somebody going as far as 2.5, but if you get somebody saying, it's subjective, and so people rate it however they want to rate it, but 2 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.